All right, excited about this one because I do think this is going to be one of, if not the most anticipated machine or piece of home gym equipment that I'm looking forward to in 2025. And a lot of you guys have been asking me questions about that as well. I'm going to be talking about the new Quantum Free Trainer, which is essentially a rebrand or version 2 or 3, you could say, of this Quantum Trainer Pro 2, which is standing next to me, which does actually have some new upgrades I haven't shown you yet that will be coming standard on the new Quantum Free Trainer, which has over 16 upgrades included in total, which we're gonna break into. I'm gonna give you guys my honest thoughts about it. Now, if you guys haven't seen past videos about this Pro 2 model, I will link all my past videos down below in the description box. I go over the pros, the cons, why I like it, and then also how it matches up to the competition of other lever-based machines or even lever arms. But since posting those videos, especially in recent months with the advent of the release and teaser of this Quantum Free Trainer, I've been getting an increasing number of questions about the machine. I haven't said too much about it up until now because I know Glenn, the creator of the Quantum Trainer, was hard at work bringing this new version to life. In this video, I'm gonna go over my thoughts and give you guys an overview of the major upgrades and changes compared from the Quantum Trainer Pro 2 to the new Quantum Free Trainer, which I'll just start calling it the Quantum Free Trainer from now on. I'll also talk about why I personally like this machine, why I think some of you guys might like this machine, but then also towards the end, who I don't think will like this type of machine or might be an obstacle for them. I'll get into price, which might be a deal breaker, but also the pre-order details first. The Quantum Free Trainer is only currently available in the continental US, and Glenn has told me he's invested heavily in the US market. This is the only place you can be able to find the new Quantum Free Trainer. Glenn has shared with me personally the details about how much this thing does cost to ship. He still wants this thing built like a tank. The new version is also going to be 11 gauge steel, essentially commercial grade quality, but also I know you guys are using residential use as well. As of right now, and this could change in the coming months, you can reserve the pre-order or lock it in for $150, and Glenn has given me an exclusive promo code that does save you $50 on top of that. And to be fully transparent, guys, because even though I do give you guys a code, I'm not getting any massive kickback from this. Honestly, it would be easier and probably more profitable for me to recommend some sort of cheaper other lever-based systems, and honestly other machines that I cover give me a bigger kickback. So me kind of giving this a strong endorsement really has fairly minimal to do with this. Glenn just knows I really genuinely love this machine. I use it, and I think it's legitimately a very cool thing. He said likely the price that is there now will probably go up in the future, especially with the tariff situation. You can look at it as a good or bad thing. I think it might be actually a good thing at the end of the day. He's actually likely could be made in the United States. As of right now, these things are made in China, but regardless of wherever they're made, he wants the quality still gonna be extremely high standards in how they are built. But basically at its current price right now, you're actually getting more for your money on the new Free Trainer compared to the old Pro 2 model. I kind of sum up the Quantum Free Trainer really as like a one-stop shop for a super versatile plate-loaded station that mimics or even outperforms a commercial gym piece. So if you're someone like me that did like using machines at the gym and is not going to invest nor has the space to get all these different lever-based, say hammer strength type related machines, that's not going to happen. This thing I think does all of that very well with other creative outlets that you can do with it. Not to mention with the added new features I'll get into later are further going to involve what's possible with this type of equipment. And then understandably, this was one of the pushbacks, and I even said this in some past videos. I've told Glenn this directly, that why not just go ahead and pick up some lever arms, especially with all the new lever arm features that are out there. What I've come to find to be definitely true, I've said it's not just with lever arms, but really any other piece of equipment out there. Just because lever arms are big and bulky in nature, and I don't personally feel like loading them up and taking them off, I find one-stop shop machines, when they're ready to go and set up, are the ones I'm most likely to use. So while the idea of making modular, super versatile pieces are definitely seem to be a growing trend, the downside of that is these accessory pieces can take up a lot of space, they add up in cost, many of which some of these things that are very popular are actually more than this thing would actually cost in a much smaller actual scale and size of what you're getting. Also, I'd say finally that the new Quantum Trainer Pro 2 does and has some other unique features that a basic lever arm or swivel type lever arm mechanism wouldn't have, of which we'll cover here in a second. And so while I and maybe others might use this in conjunction with other equipment at your disposal, Glenn always likes to push back that he really designed this machine in the way he uses it personally and kind of how he sells it and markets it as kind of a one-stop shop of an all-encompassing machine. That's all you really need. So to replace things like not just squat racks and free weights, barbells of course, but also dumbbells and the way they kind of give off the various unique tensions going on there. Not to mention it has the built-in safety functions. So if you're working out by yourself, that's also there as well. So it can definitely, and people do use it as a standalone unit or a machine. Last but not least, and arguably there's definitely more things I could say about the Quantum Trainer Pro 2 or the new Quantum Free Trainer, I gotta stop saying that, is that you can assemble and disassemble this thing in less than roughly 15 minutes. I've probably assembled and reassembled this over 15 times. I have old clips of me bringing this out to various parks. Even my initial review video, you can see it was done outside. It might seem crazy and overkill that I did that, but it's actually very easy. This thing breaks down and is assembled with essentially 2 parts, one big wrench and one of these kind of specialized other wrenches that you can use. So now getting into and giving you guys my thoughts on the new features and upgrades from the Pro 2 to the Free Trainer, and just what are some new things the Free Trainer is offering. I'll break that down. There's over 16 of them, I believe, is what Glenn told me, and likely, I would say possibly some more other attachments and features you guys will see in the future. But I'll use this as kind of a base to kind of work with. First thing is this lat pull down station, or this lat pull down attachment, which does come standard now on the Free Trainer, which was not on this Pro 2 initially. When he first made the initial one, it looked kind of like a, I said it was his English roots in him that he designed this kind of catapult type feature that was kind of freaky using it. It was also a little cumbersome to kind of load. You can see it's a little bit shorter than the new version, which has lateral metal loaders, and that is something that's an upgrade on all parts of the machine. It's gonna have metal loaders versus the plastic, which I think is certainly huge. But definitely on this lat pull down station, having the horizontal loaders just makes life a lot easier right there. The next upgrade that did not come initially standard was this kind of half-size buffer. Of course, you get the full-size buffer down here. What this does is allow you to kind of rack and unrack, say, overhead presses, bench presses from a certain position, just a little more advantageous to kind of rack it and re-rack it, so that's pretty good. Functionally, I use this a lot when I'm kind of changing out this loader or this buffer. If it's off a little bit, instead of putting it in the ground, I might put it onto this smaller loader and just, or a smaller buffer or whatever, and change out the weights that way. Standard, he had a subtle different change to this. He calls it a triple use lat pull down bar. He had something before where it clipped in laterally. I didn't like that as much, but he has this one. You definitely need some sort of chain to kind of fine tune different tension and settings for various things, but you can attach carabiners here, of course. You can do some unique things where you actually attach these arms that I did try. It wasn't like I didn't like it. It was unique. Glenn kind of talked about how it feels similar to other machines you can find in the gym and the way the force is given off. I just found I'm not going to go through those extra steps to attach carabiners to here, but you could do that for unique pull downs if you want to mix it up a bit. You can do dips with this kind of unique setup also. You are still getting this unique little handle here. Big thing that I definitely said the first time I tried it, I wish was there, is this plastic connection point in the handle. Glenn has gone ahead and upgraded this to a metal knurled handle, which is great. Vertical loaders are still there, but they're gonna be metal, but the other addition is gonna be, you could say it's an option too, because you could take them off if you want to. There's pros and cons for having them on, but he's gonna have horizontal metal loaders coming out this way. And I won't go into the nuances of that, but there are benefits of having one versus another. And I would say if I had to pick one, I would just pick the vertical loader, but it's good if you want that. The horizontal loaders are going to be there for ease of use, putting weights on and off. I have said that in the past. One of the issues I had was that some of the, I use cheap weights sometimes because the fitting on the Strength Co weights or the weights I have are just so tight at the bottom that I go cheaper weights at the bottom and then work your way up. Glenn is actually also going to supply, or it might be an add-on, I forget if it's coming or not, but little tiny spacers. This way it's easier to kind of pull the weights off. That was also something that was an issue using vertical loaders versus horizontal. So that's also a reason why you might not want to do that. And the squat bar or just straight weight bar is getting an upgrade, which is also, I think, needed. It was kind of thinner in diameter. You could feel that when it's in your hands. Definitely something you can get used to, but I love that he's gonna be beefing up that diameter here. This is also gonna be beefed up here in the frame. Some minor point, you'll see it in the video, but my initial video, I kind of complained about this setup where I always just set up on these two, realizing that you can just use one of these on one of the arms, and that's how I commonly use this bar. Such a simple thing that I just didn't think of initially, and it's one of my favorite features of the machine is using this for squats. Also for chest presses, shoulder presses, but I'll just put it into one of the arms and it works out. Also frees out a free arm too that makes use of that for another thing off the machine to kind of do some supersets. Also a big change is back here. Now you can actually adjust the height of the lever arm. There was a functional reason why Glenn didn't do that initially. I forget what it was, but now you can actually go ahead, pull a knob and adjust this lever arm setting, so that's also much needed, much appreciated, and a huge upgrade from the last one, no question. What's popping in my head now that is kind of a downgrade, I think this was like galvanized steel or something like that. This thing was meant to, on the Pro 2 model, able to withstand the elements and could be left outside. The new one is not going to have that. I forget what the material is going to be, but it is going to be 11 gauge steel just like this. And is going to be, again, built rock solid. Down here is going to be the buffers, or I should say the padded bumpers at the bottom that were not here on the older model. Still going to be 3x3 1-inch holes, but now you got some lateral holes, and I can really appreciate that because I don't have lateral holes on my squat rack. So I know I'll be throwing on probably that Beyond Power Vultra, and it's going to make use for other options, attachments. You guys want to mix and match or use some of Glenn stuff as well. Another massive improvement, and I say this because I forget where I've mentioned this, but my favorite lat pull down in my gym and the way it feels is this lever-based lat pull down on the new old Quantum trainer, new free trainer, whatever, is on this thing. And so before I had no real good way of anchoring myself. I would use my super bench and then counterweight it with some heavy weight in the back to kind of lock myself in. Glenn has now made an adjustable anchor point for your thighs. That's coming standard in that model. That to me was huge, no question. I think you need that. Then you are getting your other attachments with a couple bonuses here. So you're getting that multi-use belt squat attachment. You are still getting the dual 360 arms, which you would think you would not need this. I will just say you definitely want these for a number of things. Pull-ups, different row exercises. These things feel good and necessary for some exercises. Another big upgrade that I really appreciate, because I suggested this to Glenn the first day I got this, and I didn't think I would like it that much, was this landmine attachment. Now they're giving you 2 of these. I found myself saying to him, like, I really love how this feels just resting on my shoulder. I love pressing with it, kind of this neutral grip. I like just kind of picking it up and holding it. So now he's giving you 2 landmine attachments, which is very useful. Okay, so some bullet point summaries for who I think would like and maybe possibly not like this machine. Going off with who I think would appreciate this machine would be those who want to replace a squat rack, say in dumbbells, with one versatile unit. Those looking for commercial grade gym quality equipment at home. Anyone who wants an all-in-one machine for full body training. People who value safety, versatility, and I'd say the ability to move one unit very easily, set up and take down within 15 minutes. Who I think this machine is not going to be geared towards, of course, that $3,000 plus price tag is not going to fit everyone's budget, so that's going to cancel you guys right out of the equation if you're just not interested in spending that much money. The size and footprint is, relatively, I don't say it's on the middle ground. I mean, there's definitely other things that are bigger, but it is kind of chunky. So if you're thinking about adding into something else you already have, you got to decide if this is really going to be worth the space it's going to take up. Or if you just have a limited footprint in general, that also might be a reason why you might not want to go this way. And then a final but also related point, you might not like the idea of using a plate-loaded machine. So that is it, but if you're kind of on the fence and you actually want to try this, you will have an opportunity over at Home Gym Con 2025 this summer. Glenn is going to be there. You'll be able to find, if God willing, yours truly will be down there. I'll probably be hanging out for sure at the Quantum booth, no question. I think I have a promo code for Home Gym Con. If you guys are curious, you can save some money off registration. I'll drop that on the screen or down below in the description box. Any questions, comments, feedback, let me know what you guys think about this thing. Do you like it, not like it? I don't know. As I said at the start of the video, guys, this was not a paid promotional video. I could talk about anything I really want to on the channel. And as I said to Glenn, and Glenn knows this, I don't get a giant kickback from this. This is legitimately something I just think is cool. That's how I'd sum it up. It's something I would use and something I like, so that's why I'm talking about it. So genuine interest here in the channel. I think this thing's great. We'll see how the new one is. If it turns out to be how it looks like on the specs, this will probably be one of my favorite machines, if not the favorite machine of 2025, but we'll see. Thanks again for watching.